Yeah, so Arsenal missing a huge chance to go 7 points clear at the top. The cushion to City is reduced to just 4, having played a game more as well. So here's a look at what both teams have got coming up, meeting each other at the Etihad on April 26th for the most highly anticipated match of the year. You do not want to miss that one. City with a few more fixtures than Arsenal, as they're still alive in 2 other competitions, the Champions League and the FA Cup. Such drama over the last couple of days. It's going to be a great match this afternoon, but let's stick with the title race, because what we saw unfold over the weekend, Arsenal dropping more points after last weekend as well. How concerned are you? Where are your thoughts right now in this part of the season?
I've always said that Arsenal are having an incredible season. I've always felt that Manchester City were going to be the team to come through eventually and win the league. And when I look at both teams, what's given them, you know, the ability this season to stretch the games out as they have done as in terms of the results has been control. And you look at both games at the weekend, Manchester City, they went 2-0 up after 13 minutes, controlled the game all the way through. You've then got Arsenal at West Ham, they're 2-0 up after 10 minutes. They lost control of the game, and that's the difference. And I think you can put a lot of it down to, initially earlier on in the season, you looked at the young players for Arsenal. They weren't feeling the pressure. They were enjoying it. The outside noise wasn't getting to them. They weren't believing what they were reading, what they were listening to and what they were seeing. But now I just believe they're starting to feel that pressure a little bit. And the last 2 games to go 2-0 up and looking really comfortable in both games to end up drawing both of them 2-2. I think that has been a huge blow for them, and I fully expect Manchester City now to come through. Pressure
is a very powerful emotion, Robbie L.
I'll pick the point up from Danny. I thought, and I've seen a lot of Arsenal this season, Anna, in 31 Premier League games played. It's the first time I thought they felt City's breath on the back of their neck. It was the first time they've looked under pressure. And it was really interesting. You think of the last 10 or 15 minutes in that game, it was West Ham who were energised, who were going forward, and almost felt like Arsenal were out on their feet. They were jaded. That's a mental exhaustion as well as physical. Yeah, it was West Ham who played on a Thursday night in Europe, and Arsenal had a free week to train and be ready for that game. So it tells you that it's starting to show. It's the effect of winning a title. Our buddy Lee Dixon, who's won 4, has said there's some time in this running when it will hit you. I thought that was the moment it hit Arsenal yesterday. And Danny's right, at 2-0 up, Danny will tell you as a pro, when you're 2-0 up, you kind of can feel like you're in charge of the game. They got 2-0 up and didn't know what to do, and they had no purpose to the play. And the most impressive performance, apart from the first 10 minutes for Arsenal, for me yesterday, was Mikel Arteta in his interview after the game. I thought he was honest, I thought he was direct, I thought he was understanding of the situation. And if I'm an Arsenal fan, it would give me a little bit of hope that we might not be out of it yet. This guy still might be able to pull this around. And they've got a huge week between now and Friday when they play Southampton. They've got to be ready to make sure they put on a show.
Yeah, Mikel Arteta, he's got a big job on his hands now to protect his players away from all the noise and all the concern and all the negativity that could be surrounding Arsenal and their chances for the title. But at this point in the season, Danny, depth is crucial.
Huge.
And I know that's something that concerns you when it comes to Arsenal.
Yeah, it doesn't. And obviously, if we just take a look at this, you know, you've got your first one, plays with 25-plus starts this season. Manchester City, they've got such strength in depth that they can rotate their team. Then you look at the defensive side of things. Arsenal, we know how key Saliba and Gabriel are. Obviously, Saliba, he's missing out at the moment. It's affected him. And then starting 11 changes. That's incredible. The amount of times that Manchester City have that strength in depth where they can go, OK, I can take out one of my star players and I can bring another player in and it's not going to affect him. Whereas with Arteta, I look at his starting 11. His starting 11 is a match for any other team in the Premier League. But when you then have to make adjustments, then I think it becomes a little bit more difficult. And I think we've seen that over the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely. And you look at this Arsenal team, and the questions were, some of these young players have never been there, Anna. We don't know how they were going to react. This is their first time on the rodeo, and we've seen a disappointment. But they're not out of it yet. And there's 2 things I always think of when you get to this time of season in a title running. The 2 most important things are points, which Arsenal, you would say, have got them a moment. But who's got the power, the momentum? Who's got the feel of it's ours? And I would say Man City have that right now. Now, we're coming into the Southampton game on Friday for Arsenal, and then the biggest game of the season next Wednesday at the Etihad, Arsenal going to Manchester City. That could be the title decider. If Arsenal can go there and certainly not get beat, but even go and win the game, not only do they get the points, they grab the power back. And that could be so important for Mikel Arteta and this young group of players who there'll be doubt. Between now and Friday's game, there will be doubt in that mind. They win on Friday, they can somehow win at the Etihad, they get the point, they get the power, and they're still in the title race.
Because that's it as well. I mean, City have been so dominant in the Premier League for so long now. To even just have Arsenal contending, I mean, they've been league leaders for a while now. But to have them contending, how refreshing is it for the fans, for the Premier League, just to kind of mix it up a little bit? It makes it a lot more exciting.
Yeah, it's amazing to see, because I didn't expect it at the start of the season. But I think I just want to go back to the strength in depth as well, you know, because that, for me, is a huge factor. You look at the weekend, and I had to write it down because I couldn't believe it. Before 75 minutes, Manchester City had taken off Stones, Haaland, Rodri, De Bruyne and Grealish, all before 75 minutes. Now, the equivalent for that for Arsenal is Arsenal being able to take off Gabriel, Jesus, Partey, Odegaard, Saka. It's just not possible. And that, for me, gives Manchester City such an edge, because they have numerous match winners on the bench. And when they want to rest match winners, they can take them off when the job's done, and they can give a bit more freshness. And I think that's also a big part of it.
So how do Arsenal compensate for that then?
Well, Arsenal have to be themselves. They have to lock themselves away. They have to stay in their own isolation. They have to believe in what they've done for 31 games. They've been outstanding. And they're still in it. They still have a chance. It's still in their hands. They go to the Etihad and can still be top of the table as long as they don't get beat by Manchester City. They can't afford to let it get in their head. They have to allow their football to do the talking for them.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. For even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you over there.